Me, Dan.
Okay, awesome, guys. We have one heck of a show today on our Q&A webinar. This is our first Q&A webinar after Thanksgiving. So first, let's make it like human. I hope everyone had an awesome holiday, got to enjoy their family and do all those kinds of awesome things, which give meaning to why we spend our time, looking at a flat screen monitor with symbols on it so that we can have a better lifestyle. It's all about the lifestyle. Okay, Brad, um, what are you going to be talking to us about? I'm just kidding, Brad. Let's start with the disclaimer. Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. All the information that's provided in this webinar is for educational and informational purposes only. So if you want to get specific investment advice, please do so from a registered investment advisor. This is educational. Okay, we're here, and we're here for one reason only. Brad, before we kind of get started, I want to really kind of talk about some basics of this picture. Number one, for those of you that aren't Trade Ideas subscribers, or even for those of you that are, let's be very clear with one thing. The media lies to people. It tells them things like, you can't make money in the market. And I want to explain why that's said to you, because it's really kind of simple and it's not even that exciting of a thing. It's basically for fee generation. Everybody on Wall Street makes money when you give your money to other people to manage, because then as that money piles up, the people that manage it need to hire analysts to look at stocks and so on and so on. But it's all about information processing. So why is trading the right of your life? Well, because when you can invest and you can turn that investment into income, you not only are empowering yourself, but you're getting the best out of life. And that's why you're seeing this picture, and this is the first picture. And I have a couple of stock symbols here, GLBS and DRYS. Notice they're right on this guy's surfboard. If you were in the markets in the last 2 weeks, and if you've been coming to our webinars, you would know that right now is probably one of, if not the single best time to be an individual investor, because the kind of volatility that we're seeing, and volatility when it comes to us individuals is not a bad word. It's the ability to ride waves, which is what this person is doing. He's riding a beautiful wave. And what I'm going to show you is that taking advantage of these waves is what you are here to do. It's what we specialize in, and it's an eye-opening experience. It changes your life because
some of these moves, Dan, have been just so phenomenal. It's probably not doing justice to drives to keep it on a wave that small. I mean, these have been really significant percentage movers.
Of course, drives, wave, not to scale, metaphor. but the idea is, Brad, the reason I put that in there is because look at what he's doing. He's not just riding it, he's excelling at riding it. And that's what we are all here to do. We're here to excel. Because if we're going to be beating, quote unquote, the market, I want to talk about how that's done, and I want to break some myths. So I kind of started on it. Don't listen to the experts. The game's rigged. Well, I don't want to sound like some sort of crazy conspiracy theorist, but if you've been paying attention to what's been happening in the world and the stuff that has been fed to you, and you realize that there is kind of a lot of error, and the error has to do with garbage in, garbage out. Well, if you've been drilled into your mind for the last 3 or 4 decades that stocks can't be timed, well, then there's no real science that's being put into trying to, quote unquote, time the market. Brad, I don't even think that's an accurate way to even say it, because it's not really about timing the market. It's about riding the best waves of opportunity. And we're going to show you how that's done. Okay? So for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Dan Merkin. I'm the CEO of Trade Ideas, and people like me and my dogs. They've written articles about me and what I've been doing. But the thing I wanted to kind of point out is that look at the date here. It's 1996. So I've been successful as an investor for a very, very long time. In fact, the brilliant and astute captain, Lieutenant Brad Williams, was actually one of my students in 1998. Brad, raise your hand.
Thank you, Dan. I do believe I graduated.
Yes, he graduated with like a solid B+.
Oh, enough.
And Steve Gomez, in fact, also, and Andy Lindelof, the whole team. They've learned from me, and what I'm talking about here, and the reason I want to make it personal is because to get to where I was in these pictures took a lot, and again, I continue to do it today, but it's bloody noses. None of you want to go through what I went through to become this successful. That's the bottom line. I mean, I lost, and I don't mean that like sitting there just losing money but I had to make a lot of corrections. I had to learn things the hard way, and one of the most difficult things to learn was to realize that it's not only you that needs to adjust, but as you're figuring out how to adjust, all of a sudden the market changes, so that you can have these things where sometimes one thing works, and then sometimes something else totally works.
Pockets of opportunity.
Pockets of opportunity, pockets of probabilities. So you're here because, again, we are completely changing the game of opportunity detection and opportunity, and of taking advantage of opportunity. We apply science of server-side data processing to look through approximately 1 million points of data every night so that we can show you the most important statistical setups. But before I even jump into that, I kind of want to make sure that everybody understands that what we're going to go through, this is not about trying to get into the market and hoping to have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5%. The kind of possibilities that are available right now and that are possible and that you will see every single day are in the 20%, in the 30%, and sometimes even more. That is not to say that people are coming in here just throwing money out and taking it out. That's not how it works. And if you ever believe that something is like that, well then, I probably will not be able to change that in this webinar. But what I want to show you is a methodology and an approach that we know works and that we know is successful. So I'm going to minimize this. We'll come back to this presentation real quick. But I want to just talk to you about trade ideas and how people interact with the system and interact with the data. So one of the things that trade ideas is, for those of you that don't know, is that we're basically like the Google of the stock market, but when we go to find stuff, our whole point of existence is to find opportunities. So we watch every single stock. We have them in our server room, and our software is like watching these dots on the screen, and it's trying to figure out where, as Mr. Gomez had mentioned earlier, where are there pockets of probabilities. So to that end, and the reason why I'm on the infrastructure channel is that if anything was made very clear by the recent political environment is that it's very dangerous to try to predict things. So one of those important things I want to tell you is at Trade Ideas and the things that we do, they are not contingent upon or hinge upon any kind of prediction. Prediction is a silly, magical kind of thing. No one knows the future simply because it has not happened. So what you can do is that you can have a plan or a game plan that anticipates different things and knows how to behave accordingly when things that you recognize appear. That's the approach to successful investing, by the way, of any kind. But for those of you that are here, and the reason why we are so excited about the stock market is that the stock market is a venue that allows you to make small mistakes at the lowest cost possible out of any other venue. Consider for a minute real estate, or buying on eBay, or getting an education and going to work where you're working for other people, or starting your own business. These things are very capital and labor intensive. In the stock market, I can buy 1,000 shares of TMSK, okay, and 5 minutes later or 5 hours later, I can sell those shares at whatever is the market price. Now, I don't know that, but I would guess that it probably won't go too far below, let's say, 14. And I'm just giving you guys the flow of the mind of a successful speculator. And so I can do that, and then if I have an account at a brokerage like Robinhood or one of the other very, very cost-effective brokerages that are out there, my cost to test this thesis is 0. So the signals that we generate through our software and the stocks that we showcase are specifically the kind of things that are designed to help you identify something that then has this kind of behavior. So why are we on infrastructure? We're on infrastructure. We just added this channel as a result of the different, again, political climate that all of a sudden we are all a part of, and stump the experts, but at the same time create large opportunities for people who are able to see the data and take advantage of it. Let's talk about, again, percent returns. Why are we in stocks? Again, as I said before, there's other things like options and futures that give you various leverage advantages. But let's talk about alpha. Here you have a stock, Timken Steel is, I guess, the name of it, Timken Steel Corp. Look at this move from November the 4th to where we are today. Okay, and the reason I'm showing it to you in days, I want to make sure you have to understand, is that you do not have to be glued to the computer to actually capture quite a bit of alpha in the market. You were able to play ranges. Look at this move. You could have bought this here, been in it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, sold it here, missed this whole thing, but then been really happy because it came all the way back, but then now it's continuing to go higher. This is, this kind of percentage return is a percentage return that you are not going to hear about on CNBC. You're not going to hear about it, anywhere else, and there's not going to be another company out there in the fintech space that's going to tell you that we have the methodology for you to find these. Okay? So what makes Trade Ideas very powerful is that it does everything for you. So you don't have to actually sit there and write formulas and stuff like that. All you have to do is kind of like switch different views, like by sorting. Like you can click on columns, and all of a sudden you can rearrange your views. So if I double click, like right here, for example, I'm sorting every one of these infrastructure plays on unusual volume. In other words, Argon today traded 2.59 times the normal amount. Power traded 2.3 times. Dell traded 2.3. You don't even need to know anything about that specifically just yet, other than as you learn to process the behavioral awareness of the market, you realize that this is like basically somebody doing something that says attention, something attention. And of course, here you can see possibly why. I've never been in an environment, in my opinion, and this includes the dot-com bubble days, where the opportunities are setting up the way they're setting up in today's market. And we've never had a technology like Trade Ideas before that has taken all the years of, again, investing that all of us have done, and we've been doing this since 2003, having feedback with our customers. You are sitting here in the cockpit of the best way to take advantage of market opportunities, and the first part of that is being able to see them in a way where attention is drawn to the things that you need to see. So again, I'm going to go through a quick view of that, and you'll be able to get some for examples. So one of the things that differentiates us, and this is a good high level, but it also speaks towards one of the things that we suggest doing for idea generation, is this SURF methodology that I'm doing. It's a very easy thing to do. You can always customize, by the way, trade ideas for your own specific like monitor needs and everything else, but I'm just showing you that without any kind of programming or any kind, I'm going in here and I'm saying, well, I want to see a channel where everything in the channel has a lot of social activity going on. Okay, something is going on the social level, meaning that it's not just only trading, but people are discussing it on social media. Okay, so that means that we are connecting to a different breadth of data, not simply just the tick data that everybody else has, but we're adding our own metadata to it. So we also have graphical columns that let you zoom in on the information ahead of everybody else. So watch this. Here, this is called most discussed and trending up. So there's a window that says, okay, these stocks are being discussed a lot. Look at their average activity, and they're trending higher. Well, I can resort this, and I can basically go right into, okay, what's up the most over 20 days? Meaning that these right here have this, like, the wind at their back. A lot of times people think, oh, well, this means that they're going to be going down now, but no, not at all. Look at these moves in Bank of America of all things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 days, and from 17 to 21. This is Bank of America. That's like moving a iceberg ship that's like the size of America. I mean, there's some incredible stuff happening right now, and again, it's not limited to just low float stocks. But here the point is, how do you see strength? Well, here it is. There's no better way to see strength than this position in 20-day range lined up, and then instantly, right away, you can go, okay, let me now be able to see what's going on here. So these are being highlighted to me for some reason, and that's because these stocks today are up quite a bit from the close. So I can quickly see where not only is it just position strength, but also numerical. So there's all these different ways that Trade Ideas lets you view the data, and of course, ultimately, who is being discussed the most on social media. And here's the answer. Okay. These.
Most as a baseline for normal, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this one kind of I'm doing, Brad. I'm doing a couple of different things. I'm just combining the two, and I'm saying that, you used to have to like find things, right? You used to have to write these formulas and do all this stuff, but all of our windows are interactive, and a lot of people kind of don't know that. They see something, they're like, okay, well, what should I see out of this? And we have this graphical indicator that's called the position and range. So I can start sorting things by, well, where is, the kind of strength or whatever it is that I want to see. Like, it's kind of interesting, in fact, Brad, to look at this in this way, what I'm doing right now, because here you're seeing the ones that are still up, but ones who have pulled back the most. So if you're buying the thesis that it's going to continue, I mean, again, Warren Buffett likes to buy things like, when there's blood on the street.
And one of the things that's really cool is that you're showing that daily indicator right there. And we've also, like you showed over on the right, we've got that 20-day, but we've got all these intraday time frames, long-term time frames. So it really doesn't matter, what time frame you want to look at. These type of indicators work for all of them.
Absolutely, and everything updates in real time. So this is the thing. I mean, you're watching right now after hours, but you can kind of see that this window, what is a window that's made for real-time data. We have, in fact, if I go to our after hours window, okay, I can show you, here's something blue. Momo is making a new post-market high, and our post-market data is highlighted in pink. So trade ideas, it's a full market exploration, data exploration platform, and for me, the important thing to demonstrate before we jump into trade selection and all that kind of stuff is that, look, you're never going to be bored. There's no such thing. I mean, and so here, we talked about DRYS in that picture. Okay, so just again for everybody, look at what the stock market is doing. Look at what are the possibilities from $4 to $101 in 1, 2, 3, 4 days. I'm not saying it was easy. I mean, it came down very hard, and there's a lot of panicking, et cetera, et cetera. But the point is, my goodness, you're not going to get this anywhere else. This is the time, people. And the other thing that everyone should really understand about what we do here is this. The market has moved beyond the technical analysis that you are all used to hearing about and reading about, and that's been kind of shoved in everyone's throat for the most part. We know this because, well, we've been in the game, again, from 1996. If you don't think that I've looked at and used every literal single effing indicator that you can ever imagine, we have. They just don't do anything. And in fact, after a while, what you find out is the more clutter you have on your charts, it actually interferes more with your decision making. We kind of take a more fluid, a pure approach, a more simple approach. Your eyes are going to tell you instantly that this is a potential level of, support, and that this is a level of resistance. You don't need 1,700 pitchforks and all that kind of stuff. Keep it simple. But everything else, what you do need is to know that something is happening right now, and this is what all these channels do. Okay, so not only that, but when we were creating trade ideas, we also realized that the best way to get everybody started so they can get the most out of our technology is to have a trading floor with our own leader, Barry Anderson, who's on the webinar, and he is the host and our moderator in our trading room. We have a room that, again, uses his specific windows as kind of an entree into how to get started with trade ideas, where there people share setups, kind of you get the full human approach of how to engage with the data that you're seeing, aside from coming to these webinars and doing this kind of information gathering on your own. So like I said before, all of these data points on our windows, they're all customizable. You can take something that what Barry does, you can right-click it, you can duplicate it, you can then go and if you wanted to, you could configure it and change it and make it your own. We teach you how to do all of that, but you don't need to. Okay? So let me just quickly show everyone just all the other channels: energy, ETFs, active trading, tech titans, whatever it is you like, we've got the Netflix for it. But the highlight of our innovation is going to be this. This is what is making us the fastest growing subscription service in the United States for financial services. Okay, obviously we're not like a cable company where we have millions and millions of subscribers, but you guys, what you're doing here and what we're going to be showing you and what many of you are seeing in real time, this is kind of the apex of it. Brad, do you want to take it away?
The artificial intelligence, you bet. I mean, this has really been built on 10 years of really doing incredible database work and statistical studies on all this data.
Brad, while you describe what we do, what I'm going to do is I'm rearranging the view in a way that somebody who might not know what it is, I think it'll make it a little easier for everyone to see it. So,
so let me talk about 10 years ago, we developed an add-on module to Trade Ideas called the Odds Maker. It's an event-based backtesting tool that allows you, and you can still do it to this day, it allows you to create a strategy and then backtest it, and then not only backtest it, but kind of take a look at the data and see exactly if you were to massage it a little bit and if you were to change some filters and do something different with the strategy as a whole, how would that affect the profitability? So well, Dan's showing you the Odds Maker right here.
Yeah, if I can interrupt Brad for 1 second, I want to, I was giving an interview today on a European podcast, I guess it is, and I kind of not stumbled upon, but you and I have said this before, and we laugh at ourselves. So what Brad and I are showing you, this is the Odds Maker. We basically just asked the computer to say, hey, when I see a new high, if a stock's up 2% or more and is at that time trading 2 times its normal volume with 1,000% on the 1-minute bar and 300% on the 5-minute bar, where would this be if I started like half an hour after the open and exited 30 minutes from that point? And I can say, how about at the close? We're on the West Coast. So I'm just rerunning it again real quick. Now I'm saying for the close. And if you look at this part of it, and again, Brad, I swear I'll stop babbling.
I mean, it's really counterintuitive.
Under 1 minute. Under a minute, we ran through 1,600 possible trades and found out that this beautiful setup, which by the way will look beautiful, and I mean beautiful on every single chart you look at, only in terms of the half hour is only good 43% of the time. Okay, that wouldn't work. No.
Okay, that's all right.
I was closing because I got this other one. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Let this one finish. But here's the deal. In a nutshell, this is a really killer, sophisticated tool, but it's a little difficult for most people to use, and most people simply don't have the time to do what we're able to do from an AI perspective once the market closes. So once the market closes...
Brad, yeah. Well, this is what this is what I was going to say is that when Brad and I started talking about it, and he's about to tell it to you in a nice way, what we found out is this odds maker technology basically did one thing really, really well. It told everybody that their own strategy sucked.
That's true.
I mean, it's funny, but it's like, I used to think that was bad. Now I'm realizing that's really good. I've realized that it's an eye-opening experience. But what it basically tells you that, roughly speaking, any stock you buy on what you think is good, whether it's whatever it is with your eyes, see that 44% rate? That's about your win rate if you're going to go through a large enough sample size. Brad, go ahead.
Just like that. Well, so when this thing finishes, nevertheless, what it does is it presents the end user with an opportunity to go through all the different filters that Trade Ideas has. Not just filters like change from the close, but some of the great filters that are very unique to Trade Ideas that we create on the fly. Relative volume. Where is that stock in its 15-minute range? How much has it moved over the last 5 minutes? Where is it compared to its 200-day moving average? All those data points are really something that can define a strategy, and when some of them are manipulated, the profitability of a strategy changes. And so effectively what we did was instead of having a human kind of manipulate this window and manipulate the data, we stuck the computer on it. And so effectively when the market closes, the computer is going through just under 40 different strategies, and it's going through them and looking at every single filter, looking at today's data, looking at the last 3 quarters of the market data, the last 3 months, and refining every single strategy. So at the end of the day, or the next morning, I'm going to be presented with a list of strategies. In this case, today we were presented with, 8 of them? 8 different strategies, 7 of them long, 1 of them short, and these are all optimized strategies that the computer went through and really found the best way to tweak these strategies to make them effective today. Now, when the day started today, we had no idea what symbols would possibly trigger through those strategies. As the market moves and it's dynamic as it is, when something happens, when the filter criteria and the alert trigger kind of all come together, then a symbol will appear in the AI window. And the thing is, it's got odds behind it so that you know when a symbol is triggered in one of these strategies. Sunrise Movers was an incredible strategy today that really output some incredible opportunities. And you know, when you start looking at the individual results, you see why they're happening. And it's a combination of these different data points: volume, breaking upon some thresholds, some footprint that you may not be able to see with the human eye, but something's happening statistically behind the scenes.
Yeah, you can't see it, but the AI sees it, and that's that's the real you know, that's kind of the kicker. So let's Brad, I kind of wanted to say, so the premium product that we have, okay, that we have creates an output that happens in real time, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the experience. Some of this stuff, like, we don't need that. Let me hold on one second. I'm just going to clean this up real quick, because for the presentation, where did that column go? Ah, profit change. That's what I don't need that. Okay, so I'm moving over. Okay, so now you can see this is the signal, the direction, long meaning that we bought it. The symbol was COP. I'm going to go through them kind of one by one. It happened 6 minutes after the open, and this was the first stock that was presented by the AI today.
And you can see the blue arrow that's annotating the chart on that 5-minute chart. That's where it triggered,
right,
over on the right-hand side.
Right. There's going to be tons of improvements for people to be able to see it better, but this is where the blue right here is. This is where the price was. It happened right here. So it was in this candle, and the software was in the trade for what is it, approximately 35 minutes or so ish. Okay, and the exit price was 48.01, and the exit reason was a time stop. So what does that mean? That means that, you know, based on what Brad and I had just done over here, the software had gone through tons and tons of these little scenarios where it did all this optimization and figured out what to do. It created this sunrise mover concept strategy. It had the right odds behind it, and this was the first trade that came through. It was sunrise mover, as Brad said, and sunrise mover today, all day, had 5 trades. Its actual win percentage was 80% and made $5.93 in risk on and $1.35 in risk off. So the reason that here, Brad, let me add again just some more columns to help people understand. So the reason that that this worked, or the reason that we had these symbols in there, or strategies rather, is, let me show you another column. So win percentage. So by the way, we don't have all of this, every one of these columns, because again, now once people subscribe, they kind of get it, but I'm going to move it over here. So this is the tested win percentage for every one of these strategies. You can sort it by which one was the best. So this is all in testing, and this is what actually happened. So this strategy, the 5-day bounce, tested at 67.7%, had 2 trades today, made money, and was a total of 38 cents winner risk on, 13 risk off. Bouncers, 2 trades, losers on both of them, and lost 95 cents and a risk off 50 cents. Looking for a bounce. Again, you can see what the software was trying to do. Some of these bouncers, where you might not actually visually think that they're good prices to buy at, they actually are, because again, that's why they're bouncers. This one also, 2 trades, but tested at 63, but it wasn't successful today. And this was the whole run. But if you look at the way it happened, and this is what's kind of really cool, almost all the best trades today were the ones that kind of happened first. So COP, 6:36, and remember we're on Pacific Coast time, so you're in 6 minutes after the open. 10 minutes after that, MUR. Again, very similar. The software, not because it's trying to play the oil sector, by the way, Brad, but it's because it's looking for a certain type of behavior, and that behavior was being exhibited in the oil sector. That's why it's buying or suggesting for you to buy these stocks. MRO, same thing. Entry price 737. So I guess it was actually, let me redo it.
You know, MRO, that's an interesting one right there, because you know that one in risk-off mode got stopped out. For every one of these strategies and every one of these trades that are suggested here, there's a stop. You know, it's not some unlimited risk that you're taking, and this one just happened to hit it. And if you kind of have the ability to zoom into that chart right there, I mean, it just triggered that 25-cent stop, and then it started going. And that's a lot of times people use the price alerts. This is probably, you know, a good kind of opportunity to show the price alerts of how you would set something like that after you get stopped out of a trade.
Right. So in MRO, let's say again you lose your 25 cents because again you get in right there, it pulls back. You can go right here, create an alert where you think again if it pulls or if it continues, you can just say MRO continuing.
Yeah, that's a real successful methodology in spotting continuation moves.
You no longer forget anything. So, Brad, what I'm going to do is right now I want to kind of answer a couple of questions. I saw something about what Albert was saying, and I want to address that. And I also want to talk about the risk on versus risk off. Okay. So some of these terms are new, but I guarantee you they're not difficult, okay? And well, as I mentioned before, Barry and our whole team, we do a pretty good job of going over them and explaining everything. So we'll start with Albert. Albert, unfortunately, we have been taught to use terms like day trading, swing trading, and stuff like that. It's kind of unfortunate because all those things is just a type of investing, and then your time frame is a function of your risk tolerance. Okay, so listen to what I'm saying here, guys. Time frame is a function of your risk tolerance. Some people have a very low risk tolerance. Some people have a higher risk tolerance. Like you can imagine, if you are like, you know, have an account of $500,000 and you're in 5,000 shares of a $2 stock, you are not going to be exiting every 20 cents. Even though percentage-wise those are big moves. Just hypothetically, I'm putting that out there, okay? But the decision of how and when you get out, that strictly has to be a decision based, again, on your account size and what you're able to handle. In terms of what we provide you, okay, with the AI, we give you an entry, we give you an exit that lets you preserve your capital, and we give you another exit that lets you take advantage of the most that the statistics provide. And those are the two things, risk on and risk off. And all of these things, by the way, I know, you know, who was it? I think Ziv was saying that there was a lot of information on the screen. But again, remember, I'm doing a webinar and I'm showing you what we give you. It all kind of comes out one at a time. First you see one. So this what the suggestion would look like, except obviously arranged differently. But it would say, get long fit, there would be a timestamp, direction, a symbol, and an entry price. So it kind of looks like this. So when you first see it, this is really the information that you see, okay? This is the information that appears, and it's clear. Again, don't worry about my small little box that I'm making, but basically, in our here, I'm going to switch channels real quick, because again, I wanted to check something out. And then I go back to the AI channel. I mean, I do this all the time. So when a trade is opened, it instantly appears in this window, and you see entry time, the direction, which strategy, the symbol, and the entry price, and what was the last price. Because again, we are making this not for robots, but for people. So you can get into a stock, you have to understand, not every one of them is going to go your way, and sometimes when it goes your way, it doesn't always go completely instantly. So this is designed for people to follow, and we give you an ability to trade around it, so that you can see not only opportunities, but how to maximize your P&L using the technology that we provide and the flow that we showcase when Barry is showing everybody during the day. You know, there's a constant flow, how to interact with the software. So let's, a quick summary. Remember, Trade Ideas, full market search engine, but searching stocks for pockets of opportunity, pockets of probability. The high point of our technology is this AI channel, which basically gives you a full path of how an AI would succeed today trading, and trading, you know, taking advantage of what the market has statistically. The idea is that you follow the AI to the best of your abilities. Again, that is as good as you can get to what is available in today to capture the most out of this market. There's very few people that can put up these kind of statistics all together. And again, look at the numbers. You know, there was a pretty big pullback today on the market, and you know, we finished up to 79, but look how far it gotten twice, almost to 7 points. So remember, you know, this is a P&L graph that shows you how the profit of the software, you know, how did it do? And in risk off mode, 75 cents up to, you know, again, very quickly, and then obviously it didn't trade anymore. So what we do is, through your subscription to Trade Ideas, you learn how to navigate all of this. You learn to see the most exciting flow of information that's available to, you know, people that aren't in the NSA and aren't dissecting aliens in Area 51. This is the pulse of the world in real time. But we've done all the work to get you to the most interesting information right in front of you. So whether you're trading discretionarily, and you should, okay, because again, the cost of making small mistakes is nothing. Forget that whole notion of buying and holding. Again, that was made as a ruse to get your money. Okay, you should be buying, you should be trying a lot of different things out and moving where the momentum of the markets are. So this is the, you know, the crux of creating an environment where you're never going to miss an opportunity. As Brad and I were talking, you know, we had discussed the fact that we not only showcase, you know, this flow of information, but we kind of let you become part of the alerting system, because there's so many good things that your eyes can do that they do, but not when you have to pull the trigger instantly. And let me show you what that is. And this is really kind of the closing part of our presentation today. Okay, so we dissect the market so that you can see a lot of cool information. Biggest gainers for the week, biggest gainers for the month, for the year, since January 1. I mean, that's an important number, because that's really, you know, the one that sort of counts, you know. Biggest percentage gainers today, and then, you know, we show them to you in different ways, so you can see as stuff streams or in just a top list dynamic form. But every one of these things, you can connect to it instantly, and this is how you do it. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, you loved this presentation and you saw that I talked about these shippers. You're saying, SINO, that's kind of a cheaper chipper, or whatever that even means nowadays. So you zoom into it and you say, you know, if it gets above, and notice there's no indicators, forget indicators, okay? If it gets above, let's say, 4 let's call it 435. And you say, it is on. Now that you've saved it, you do not need to worry any longer. Okay, you will instantly be alerted if your trigger is hit, and once it's hit, the software will keep a P&L points tab for you. So not only do these things trigger, but unlike at every other place, you can find out if your ideas are good or not. Who else gives you this kind of feedback? So let me, again, just re-explain what that means. So here I am in GOBS, and I'm saying that, you know, again, this thing could run again, so I'm just going to say it 880 when it just breaks out. I would buy it, you know, I'd buy 100 shares, 200 shares. Again, you can make these small bets. Look what happens. What happens to your 100 shares if it goes to $19? You know, you're making $2,000. It's crazy. I mean, it's whatever you are able to handle with your own capital. This is again, what's exciting is that not only are you being served up this information by trade ideas, but everything that you notice that kind of piques your interest, you know. And again, notice it's both the short-term and the longer-term picture, but some interesting stuff going on here. I'm going to go, whoops. Look, now that you're seeing, look at where this stock has been. It's been to $12. You know, if you didn't zoom out, you wouldn't have even known that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say go right here and say, this is on again. I'm going to remind myself because I'm going to get some. This is how I make money. You see, like I made a notation, I moved in, and now, like I don't even see this alert because when I'm zoomed in, you know, it doesn't look the same. And here, what's kind of funny is that your mind's trying to tell you, hey man, this is overbought. That's the problem with our psychology and the way we're engineered towards fear and greed is that, you know, you kind of have to understand how you think to be able to make the best decisions so that you can take advantage of it. Okay, so I'm also showcasing you some stocks that you should be aware of. This is the same thing. HTBX. Remember I talked about why are stocks so exciting? Because the future is in the stock market. Okay, these stocks, crazy things happen in them. Look at this move from this is all happening overnight, from $3 to $1.25. Incredibly volatile, right? But this is where the opportunity is. Okay, you know, how bad can it be? You know, I can get into 1,000 shares of this and potentially get out at zero. You know, but then I know that there's no risk. My goodness, what if it runs back to where this is? What if this news is the way it's being interpreted is wrong? By the way, that happens a lot more than you may ever think. So, Brad, how are we caught up on the Q&A?
Well, hey, we're good. But did you get to Barbara's question about risk on, risk off? I may have kind of tuned out while you were answering it. If you did.
Let me get back to the AI and I'll answer Barbara's question in terms of risk on and risk off. So when there are no trades, it's the morning, we start completely flat. Okay? And by the way, we also finish flat. The software starts at zero and finishes at zero because we do not want to be reliant upon some stock that we got into that did really well in January, but you're not in it. So we kind of start our index over every single day. Holly is an alpha index that competes with the SPY, but our P&L is generated every day by the trades, and we don't know which way it's going to be, long or short, and we don't know what stocks it's going to be, but the cumulative P&L is what we compete with the S&P. Okay? It happens in two ways. So you can see in bold, this says risk on, which means that today, although, again, in some of these stocks, what it might have seemed counterintuitive, what you wanted to do was let the market statistics run. In other words, not necessarily exit everything for capital preservation, but actually be in some of the things and let them run, because, as it turns out, that's the behavior that was paying off. Now, again,
So, hey, Dan, let me.
The downside if you did it exactly that way. But the idea is that the software is talking to you, and like let's say you get into, I'm gonna move the trades back. Where did I put them? Hold on one second. Brad, did you want to add something?
I did, because you were kind of confusing me, and I think
I don't
Barbara
want to
might be.
confuse you, Brad.
I know, and Barbara might be confused too. I wanted to try to explain it in a different way if I could.
Sure.
I think it's a little easier to kind of get your head around. So let's start with risk off. First of all, every one of the strategies that we have on here, sunrise movers, 5-day bounce, quarterback, and all of them, they all have a time stop, like you were saying. And that time stop could be 45 minutes, it could be 60 minutes, the end of the day, it could be an hour, but there's a time stop. And then there's also, some of them have a profit target. You know, if it gets to $1 or it gets to $1.50 or something, it may take that profit target and exit the position. And then also every single trade has a stop loss on it. So a protective stop loss, you're not going to lose more than 25 cents or 50 cents or whatever that value is. So when you get out of the trade, whether it's for a profit target, a stop loss, for a time stop, or even we have some other reasons like a reduced risk. If it's been kind of meandering and not doing a whole lot, we'll get out of the trade. Or if in fact it ran up and is now starting to pull back, that's called a profit save. So if we get out of any of those trades, that's going to be what your risk off profit is. But if you don't get out of the trade and you let the market take it to the end of the day, that's what your risk on profit is going to be. And that's kind of what you're saying to yourself is, I'm going to stay in this position, I'm going to let it work for me through the day, I'm not going to adhere to some time stop, or I'm not going to adhere to this profit target, I'm going to let it work. So I think those are the two ways to look at it. Whether it's risk on, you're letting it go. If it's risk off, you're going to get out at that time stop. You're going to kind of keep it a shorter time trade.
And you can also trade around it. I think that the other thing is that it's definitely easier to see as it happens. You know, Albert was asking a question, and I'm going to see if I can. Dang it, I don't have that on my desktop right at the moment. One second here, Brad. Let me see if I can. Windows 10. Where is the desktop? Okay, I was going to show him a picture because I remembered. Hold on, let me do something real quick. I've taken a couple of screenshots today, and let me do something real quick here. I think it'll be coming up in 1 second here. So is this today? No, there's two. Okay, so by the way, this is on the 28th, so 2 days ago, and it's at 10:07 a.m. So you can kind of see what the software was doing. So this is kind of what it looks like, and here is an example where you have a trade that's long still, and here's one that's been closed out, and I'm kind of showcasing the different things that you might be able to see, and it's a lot easier maybe when there's less information. But I think I have another photo that let's see. Is this today? Okay, this was so okay. So this is another one that I was showing as it was happening. So here you can see two trades that were closed out. One risk off was up 8 cents. Another one risk off was down 2 cents. See how in this case it's telling you that the behavior that's making the most money is risk off. In other words, you should be more conservative because the volatility is playing against you. But this one, the one that is short that it put on, was up 17 cents. And I was just giving an example that also not only is the software giving you the full kind of play-by-play, but it also helps you it's not just buying, it's doing both. And here, as Brad was saying, notice you can see when was your max profit 2 minutes ago. How far are you from the stop? You're 42 cents away. And when is the exit? In 35 minutes. Brad, I think that has to help a little, doesn't it, what I'm doing here?
Yeah, it does, because what's great is that over on that bottom right window, that open that open position window here, you've got some data points that you wouldn't otherwise see, right? Like you've got the time until exit. You know that we're going to be in this position for 35 more minutes. And we can see here that while we're up 17 cents right now, it actually was up 20 cents 2 minutes ago. So, there's a lot of data on here, but you can kind of look at it and gives you a flavor for what's really happening.
Yeah, let me see if I can find another one from earlier today. Okay. I think this is earlier today. Okay. So this is the one I was kind of looking for. So again, people were saying, Albert, you were saying, what do you see, right? So here's the time frame. It's 8:16, and the market in California opens at 6:30. So we have already gotten into these trades. We've been up $4.40. And here are the ones that it's in right now, and it's up 5 cents in B, A, and C. It's down 2 cents in AMD, and it's down 10 cents in PFSI. And it's telling you, again, just as we had said before, how long has it been since you did well? What's really cool about that, by the way, is it lets you manage your risk well too. Like here, you're down 10 cents, but you haven't. But you're 24 minutes away from your top profit. So maybe again, that's how you say, okay, maybe if I'm following this trade, then I'm gonna kind of cut my risk and get maybe.
Looks like a reduced risk to me. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, Brad, do you want to add anything to Paul's question in terms of the automation or IB?
You bet. Why don't you bring it up?
Back on this.
What are you bringing it back?
No, I'm kind of getting back to the presentation so that everybody.
I was saying you could bring up that Brokerage Plus window, but here's the deal, guys. We've had Brokerage Plus, which is a strategy automation. It's really more than a strategy automation because it does allow you to do some really sophisticated portfolio management. We had this previously available to the Lightspeed brokerage clients, but we've kind of did a pivot and anticipate in December, at some point in December, to be releasing our Brokerage Plus tool integrated with IB. So, any alert window that you create, you can create any alert window and just drop it into this strategy tab right here, and it'll automate for you. It's just like the odds maker. You can input the set of instructions anytime there's a signal in one of the strategies. What do you want to do? Do you want to buy $5,000 worth of stock, or do you want to buy 200 shares? What kind of order do you want to put in? What kind of stop loss, profit target, all that stuff. And then you can manage it right here through the position tab. And these can either be free-floating windows, or they can be kind of all tab-based inside of this one window right here. Keeps track of your P&L, does a nice P&L graph similar to what we have over on the AI window. Smart buttons for execution, flatten your position really quickly, limit out of something, do a quick change of heart and do a reverse if you want to do something like that. So real sophisticated, quick execution, and really everything you need to be able to automate the strategies inside of Trade Ideas.
Yeah, and you can test and create your own strategies. You can do all of that stuff, and notice again lots of similarities here, and what you see on the AI. So basically, kind of everything is converging. Believe it or not, it's going to get
exactly that. Once you put that strategy in there, it's going to automatically execute it when a signal occurs
and manage it for you. So yeah. Lots of exciting stuff. I mean, I can simply say that you're at the right place. Amazing stuff is taking place, and we have never been more excited about what we're doing. We really have not. The strategies are starting to perform better. So here I'm going back to the presentation, and as I said before, we talk about the AI and its daily P&L, which is what you see right there. We would take that and compare that to the SPY. So today, the SPYs are down 52 cents, AI is up 2.79. That's how the high level of that works. Now, obviously, again, we are not trying to extrapolate literal performance exactly as it is, because again, I think, it's not exactly an apples to apples, but we're just trying to say that, look, to some extent, you have a choice. We have a technology. This technology tries to be a human speculator, and this is how it's performing. And you can see that it's gotten better. It started off good, then it and the market are kind of, it was doing better than the market, but sort of in parity. And now you're kind of seeing a complete new shift. It's just improving and improving. And, as I've said before, let me see if I can just bring this back up. Right. Yeah, this was from earlier today. These were all the trades as they were happening. And then where was that one that I did? Hold on one second. And that was a good one too. Okay. So this is what I was trying to say. So on the 28th, this shipper, GLBS, had that insane run, and the AI caught it all in real time. But even if you didn't catch it perfectly, I mean, there was a huge chunk of this 43% that was actually caught. And this is the one that's starting to go again, today. So this is what you should be the most excited about. If your software can catch the 43% movers and do it in real time, you're at the right place. This is what we're talking about. This is what's so exciting about riding these kinds of market waves. So that's the point tabulation versus the S&P. This is how you guys are reacting to this technology. This is our subscription and customer growth since we launched the AI. This is what we are the most proudest about, and why we're continuing to innovate at a breakneck pace. We're going to be seeing some of you. We're doing an event in San Diego for empowering women investors. We believe that the women investor is very underserved in the market. We kind of want to demystify a lot of that, talk about a lot of the things that we discussed here, but we're doing it in a nice setting and catered to women. If you are in San Diego, or if you're going to be, please feel free to go to this link and register online. So Trade Ideas is a subscription-based service. If you like what you're seeing, the premium service costs $188 a month. That's with the AI, or $1888 a year, and this comes down to about a cup of coffee. So it's $5 a day, roughly speaking. So for $5 a day, you get artificial intelligence that can find the potential to be in the 40% winner. There's nobody else that's doing what we're doing. We have competitors. You've got the telecharts and some of the other vendors, but people are giving you tools, and they want you to figure out what to do with that. We've jumped that whole moat. We said, we've got the tools, and we're going to tell you what to do, and our concepts are going to be the concepts that are going to help you make money. So, I mean, again, to me, it's a no-brainer. I don't want to have to convince you to be a Trade Ideas subscriber. You should want to be. For coming to the webinar and taking your time, we want to give you a promo code, 50% off your first month or premium, or 10% off your first month or year standard. And the promo code is Price Alerts, all caps. We're very easy to get a hold of. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, all Instagram, we're very active on all those fronts. I am personally Trade Ideas 1. I'm a little crazy, and my internet persona kind of goes all over the place, but I like to have fun. Please like our Facebook page at facebook.com Trade Ideas Pro. If you have any questions about anything that you saw in the webinar or need more information, info@trade-ideas.com, or I can be reached at dan@trade-ideas.com. Let me exit here. This is our phone number, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our website. And just so that you know, access to our free live trading room, you can do that from here. We have a professional services aspect of the site for broker-dealers, wealth managers, and other professional elements. And the same things that I just showed you, you can see all of the pricing information right here. Okay. So this is $18.88 a year, $188 a month. The difference is versus the premium is you have all the advanced windows, the AI, the ability to test your alerts, and the ability to set price alerts. But even without all of that, the live trading room is free for everyone, whether you're a Trade Idea subscriber or not. Just click on this link, and it will prompt you to enter the room. It's a great way to get started. Everybody that signs up for Trade Ideas and becomes a customer gets a one-on-one training session with one of our directors of education, Jamie Hodge, Steve Mez, Andy Lindlock, and myself. Again, we're in business 24/7, and we're here to help you win, because there has not been a better time to be an individual investor. Thank you for joining us at our Q&A webinar, and we hope to see you soon. Brad, did we cover everything? Scott, are we good?
Yeah, I think you're good.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your evening.